Yo, welcome to Chop It Up. I'm your man, Uncle Freezy. What's good, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So tonight we are gonna talk about a few things, right? And so we have a main topic, a theme, right? That I want to address, but in that I understand that in this one topic, which is complicated, that we may wind up talking about other stuff. I'll soon be joined by I think G-Man and I think Chuck Allen, I think. Maybe Cully. Maybe Soulfinger might drop through. But mostly, it'll be us hanging out. Chef NYK is in the building. What's good? What's good? What's good? Before I do that though, I want to play a couple things from my homeboys, man. Um, um, of course, I'm all about spreading love and supporting artists, whether they rap, sing, create, what I'm saying, whether it's paint, whatever they do. So I'm gonna play a couple of small commercials, man, that I helped put together. Not the art itself. I'm just talking about the video part of it. So the first one would be a joint by DSJ, and the other one would be a joint by RC Creative.
Yeah. Yeah. Shorty, let me holler at you. Girl, it's the way you walk. Command attention. It's all about your vibe. Your true intention. I call you good God. You're misunderstood. Cause you're from the hood. From first eye contact, I knew I had to have that. Had a feeling you were something special. Didn't know if I could match that. You draw a crowd just to say hi. You make it happen, you stay fly. You big and everyone know. If I was a stock, you would raise mine. Even with a t-shirt and sweats on. Girl, you work it for me. Don't matter what they say about you. Baby, you're perfect. Girl, to me. It's the way you walk. Command attention. It's all about your vibe. Your true intention. I call you good God. You're misunderstood. Cause you're from the hood. That Dominican girl. East African queen, call you my cinnamon girl. Sweet like grandma cobbler. You were a number one prospect. Even if you're raised in the projects. And you got the whole game on lock. Cops and robbers. They'll build an altar, you're so bomb. You shoot them down so calm. You don't be playing no games. But sexy in jerseys you throw on. I'm your soldier, I will march in line. You know it's your world. Let me hit you with that more in line. You go, girl, it's the way you walk. Command attention. It's all about your vibe. Your true intention. I call you good God. You're misunderstood. Cause you're from the hood.
They say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Well, I would love to be the one that holds you. Console you in times of grief and listen when you're trying to speak. Your smile, it brightens up the darkest moods, and looking in your eyes is like gazing at the stars and moon. Just thinking about you, damn, I can hardly move. The depths of my feelings are hard to convey. Like trying to catch fish at the edge of a bay. Like I'm caught in an infinite wave. Cause even when you do the simplest things, I
everything I ever wanted in this life. The car I wanted. I had the career I wanted. I had the girl of my dreams. My soulmate. And now it has all been taken away from me. And I cannot remember what happened to my life. I don't even remember who I am.
Yo, that was dope. So the first joint was Hood Goddess by Delano Steele Jr. That's our man, part of Lawrence His family, the homie. And the second joint was by RC Creative, a TV miniseries made for Netflix by RC Creative during this fire. So the topic of today's episode is the men in my life made me a monster, right? The men in my life made me a monster. And you can take that in several different ways. It depends on how you view the term monster, right? Like, what is a monster? What is a monster? That's what we should be thinking about, right? Is it that beast that you see on a football field, like the DB that's just picking off everything in sight? He done scored like 4 touchdowns, and his mama and daddy in the crowd cheering. You know what I'm saying? Go, little Junior, go. You know what I'm saying? You know, the monster that'll wind up going to like some big school, like, you know, South Carolina State or North Carolina State or some, you know, some huge school off of athletic ability. And he got there through this love and support of his parents. Or it can be that person that picked up all the habits of the father, or the men that were around him, everything. I'm talking about from the way that he dresses, the cigarettes that they smoke, you know what I'm saying? The beer that they drink, you know what I'm saying? Like how Dr. Frankenstein said, I've created a monster. Because Dr. Frankenstein wanted to create something somewhat in his image and all that stuff. And he wound up creating a monster by adding little parts to it. You know what I'm saying? And blah, blah, blah. Or is it, and I guess it sounds similar. Is it the monster that you create with all the negative things in life? Like just telling them, you ain't never going to be nothing. I ain't nothing. My daddy wasn't nothing, and you ain't going to be nothing. You know what I'm saying? Is it that type of vibe? Like ever since you little, all you had was negative reinforcement, and it forced you to think at the world, and what you think is real, but it's actually negative. Like I hear men say that all the time. Man, I'm just keeping it real. No, you ain't keeping it real. No, you ain't keeping it real, because that reality is not everybody's reality. That reality is your personal reality. So is it that? And I want to start off in the very beginning, right? So I want to start off in the very beginning, right? In the very, very beginning, like the first memories of men when you saw a man, right? Like when you were young, and I'm talking about early stages, early childhood development. What was a man to you, right? Think about what a man was to you in the early stages, right? And so what I'll do is I'll break down what it was to me, right? So what it was to me was a situation where everybody that was tall, like and I'm talking about when I'm little now. This is when I'm little, early childhood development or whatever. everybody that was tall and kind of like had like bass in a voice or whatever, you know what I'm saying? They said something. I thought it was a man. You know what I mean? Like when somebody was 17, 18, 19, and they was having those 17, 18, 19-year-old conversations, like, yo, I'm thinking about joining the army. Right? Let me bring my guy in here real quick. What's up, boss? How you doing, man? I can't hear you. Yeah, I still can't hear you. Oh, I guess he said he'll jump out and jump back in. Okay. So when you was like, say, 4 or 5 years old, right? And people around you were like, men were like 17, 18, 19 years old, right? And they would say, they would have these conversations around you, and you were like, what is this strange conversation, right? They'd be talking about stuff like college, right? You're like, man, college. I can't wait to go to college. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, positive reinforcement, you're around positive people. They say college is the place to go. You know, get out of kindergarten, whatever grade you in. Get out of kindergarten, do like 12 more years of regular school, and then go to college, right? They'll say stuff like, my girlfriend, mama don't like me. And you're like, yo, girl, you got a girlfriend? Right? No lie. So the reason why I say that is because when you're young, you think about men as mythical creatures, kind of mythical figures. You know what I mean? Yo.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. You Gucci now. Yeah, man. How you doing today, man?
I'm good. How you doing this evening?
Man, I'm fantastic, bro. I'm fantastic,
Great.
man. Yeah, man. I need to get me another mic stand though. See, my mic stand is all. What is all this stuff going on, man? Dang, Amazon.
Yes, it's time for me to invest in some new equipment. I have bought, like I told you, I bought some stuff, but I went the really cheap route. Sometimes you get exactly what you pay for.
Yeah.
So this go round, I'm just gonna spend a little extra money to get quality podcasting equipment.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Hey, DSJ, I just played your joint. I just played Hood Goddess a few minutes ago. DSJ coming in here, strolling here all late. I played Hood Goddess at the top of the show.
He had to make a fashionable entrance.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You play a fire joint like that, he got to come in the party after.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, introducing the R&B sensation Delano Steele Jr. There he is. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Hey, Chuck. So I started breaking down on the topic, right? DSJ was like, "Yo, I'm at work right now, man. Y'all putting me on the spot." But yeah, man. So I started the conversation. The men in my life made me a monster, right? And so what I did was initially just started talking about, and just recapping for everybody out here, those watching and listening. So I broke down the word. Before I start breaking down the word me, I broke down the word monster. What is a monster? Right? What is a monster? Like, is a monster that little boy that excels on the athletic field because his mom and pops and family supported him all these years, taking him to all these practices, getting him all the equipment he needed, all that stuff. Is that a monster? Like he come up as a little boy, dominating the recreation department, wound up going to a big school like South Carolina State or Georgia or wherever, because with the support of his family, right? Or is a monster the Frankenstein style monster, where the monster is the person that took bits and pieces from all the people that were around him, and it made him into a monster. Like he smoked the same cigarettes his daddy smoked. He liked the same kind of cars his uncle liked. He cooked like his mama. You know what I'm saying? He went to the military, you know what I'm saying, and did 20 years like his daddy and his uncles and them did. You know, he went to school, went back to school, got his degree like his mama did, right? Or is a monster just that? A monster. Like the person that took all the terrible parts of all the experiences he had in his life and lives that negative life in the guise of, man, I'm just keeping it real. Y'all be smiling too much. What you smiling for? Life ain't no, y'all be, you know, like, I'm just keeping it real. And so, and that, by asking that, because there's something to that. The person, like the people that's like, you know, the real thing and all this stuff, like to say, man, these fools out here in these streets, or, you know what I'm saying? You hear people say these type of things. That's on them, and that's a perception. But it's not real. It's not everybody don't share the same reality, right? And by making it negative for everybody, by others around you, by being negative, it's like trying to impose, say, your negative outlook on others. And people that are positive are just as guilty. They try to impose their positive thoughts and experiences on others also. So when you say the men in my life made me a monster, what are we really talking about? What type of monster are we referring to? Right? And by saying this, are we admitting that we are flawed as people?
Great question. Great breakdown. DSJ says, I think the connotation of the word monster depends on the context. And I would agree, because when you say monster, are you indeed speaking of Frankenstein or Edward Scissorhands? Are we talking Harry and the Hendersons? Or are we talking about Dracula?
Right. So okay.
Because I can name some what perceived to be monsters because they were different. But that doesn't necessarily make it a bad thing. As you were saying earlier with your synopsis, that mom and dad created a freak athlete that dominated every level of sports to become one of the greatest, or at least make it to the NFL, right? Or NBA or whatever. In that case, genetically speaking, yes, right? Anyone who makes it, who dominates on all levels, they are a caliber of athlete that is once in a blue. Lawrence Taylor is once in a blue.
Right.
Barry Sanders once in a blue. Deion Sanders once in a blue. And if we were to categorize their contributions to the sport, we would have to say, yo, LT was a monster. Barry Sanders was a monster. Deion Sanders is a monster. So, again, back to what DSJ says, it depends on how you're using it. Because it could be the opposite.
So I agree, because here's the thing: the term monster is not a self-evaluation; is what people say of others. It's like your reputation. Your reputation is not what you make it, right? Your reputation is the opinions of others about your actions.
Right.
So no matter you could, people say this all the time, man. I make my own reputation. No, you don't. You make your own perception of yourself, but a reputation is the perception of others about the stuff that you have done in the past and what they think you will do going forward. That's your reputation, right? And I know that sounds like, neither here nor there, is whatever, but nah. But and then too, the monster breakdown thing is this, like the black hole of negative thoughts and opinions, right, is one form of a monster, right? Like only this person only sees the dark side, the negative side, the bad side of everything that has happened. Like them kids over there making all that noise, singing happy birthday to that baby. That baby, why a 6-year-old need to have a birthday party, making all that noise, putting all that trash, putting all that wrapping paper all on the ground. You know what I'm saying? They got the baby over there swinging a stick at that piano. What if that baby swing and knock somebody's eye out? Right? And so what it is there's one person sees the dark side of everything, while everybody else in that scenario is choosing to look on the bright side. Have some fun. You'll never get these days back. Enjoy yourself. Kind of like it's kind of like, y'all, it's kind of like Vibrant Ones. It's kind of like when me and Chuck get together and in the mornings on Vibes and Stuff Live, in the mornings most weekdays, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. ish to 9 a.m. ish. We laugh and we joke and we have a good time in that moment, right? Just have a good time, enjoying somebody's company, right? Right? We choose to not judge either way, just enjoy the moment, right? Somebody would see that and be like, man, you'll never see two black men, you know what I'm saying, laughing and joking, smiling. What are they smiling for? What a black man doing smiling on the internet? You know what I'm saying? It's you can legit, some people, man, nah, man, I ain't saying that, man. I'm just keeping it real. That's how some people choose to do. They the black hole of the negative stuff. They take all the negative stuff and refuse to give like the positive stuff. Or if it's like a positive thing, it'll be the most begrudging positive thing that they can muster, right? And so the thing about Frankenstein's monster is this, and this is what I'm asking. When it comes to Frankenstein's monster, it's a totally different thing. It's not just absorbing negative stuff. It's absorbing the natural stuff. Like, man, I love the way Pop's cigarettes smell when he be in the living room watching the game. And then when you get old enough or bold enough or bad enough, then you start sneaking a little cigarette out the thing. You know what I'm saying? And you go around and then you start smoking the same cigarettes he smoked. You know what I'm saying? Or Pops be drinking beer and he pass out. As soon as you hear the remote hit the floor, you know he sleep. As soon as you hear the remote hit the floor, You look in there, he still got his glass, and you be like, he ain't gonna miss it. He ain't gonna miss it because he sleep. And the Giants losing anyway. You know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like you pick up and walk like them. Like Chuck, you ever heard the saying knock kneed, pigeon toe?
Yes.
And you ever seen like a family walk up, everybody knock kneed, everybody
Yes.
pigeon toe, everybody bow legged? Yeah. It's like the monster is different parts of people that are around. Like for instance, it's one of those things like, man, I'll give you an example. Man, Uncle Freezy know everything about the computer, but his singing is terrible. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and it's like I pick up like the computer stuff not because it come to me naturally, but because I used to watch my mom do it when I was little. My mom used to like do all the spreadsheets and like the computer stuff and all that stuff. And man, and so people used to be like, man, she a computer whiz. You're gonna take over the world. You're gonna be the president. Cause this is how, you know what I'm saying, we used to talk back in the 70s and 80s, you know what I'm saying? So I used to be like mesmerized about how fast she could type, you know what I'm saying, and all these type of things. So I was like absorbing the stuff that she can do, and at the same time, I'm absorbing the stuff that my pops used to do also, because it just felt natural to me. Like always have a bunch of homeboys. Pops used to have a whole bunch of homeboys, man. Not dudes that he could. Back then, you couldn't talk to nobody, but always a bunch of homeboys. Everybody laughing, cutting up.
Right.
Everybody smoking cigarettes about this long. Everybody dressed up. You know what I'm saying? And so I became that a monster of the environment around me, because I was gradually just taking bits of stuff, like taking my uncle's artistry, my mom's ability to do clerical stuff, my pop's insatiable or innate ability to be a socialite, right? Because being a socialite is not easy, right? Like some people, like a lot of people are not comfortable around new people, or not comfortable in big settings, or comfortable being out front, right? Or comfortable being the leader of something. My pops was that, and it impressed me. And so I was kind of like taking bits and pieces of that and building this Frankenstein monster that would soon become Uncle Freezy, because I would take bits of the, like, you remember Frankenstein, right? My man go to the graveyard and get the little bits and pieces, and then so you know, put it all together and make something. So yeah, man. So it's that, and then it's the other thing, like the positive reinforcement of a baby, like, you know what I'm saying, the baby be born, everybody coming together to just, you know, put all they sacrifice them like a beehive. They sacrifice themselves so that the next generation can become an elite talent at something. You know what I'm saying? Turn that baby into a monster, man. And it ain't just sports. I use sports in as an example because most of us here, we speak to this thing because of sports, because we're Knicks fans, right? Or Giants fans. Bless your heart. Giants fans. If you're a Giants fan in a hot, man, bless your heart, man. But anyway, but it's like you got these three different things, but they turn out the same result, even though the result is different. And I know it seems like I'm double talking, but so Chef NYK asked the question. So Chef NYK asked, you guys grew up with your grandfathers. I'll let you answer that one, Chuck, first, if you want to.
Um, no, not my grandfather, but great grandfather. I got to experience some life with him.
All right, so I didn't grow up with Bobo or Pee Wee, right? I would visit them. Let me put this thing back on. Um, so I didn't grow up with Bobo or Pee Wee. They were a lot like, so Bobo died in Bobo passed away in 78. I think I was like in 5th grade or something when he passed away. Right? I was like in like 5th grade or something. I remember that because I used to be hollering at girls, saying, hey, what's up, shorty? What's happening? You know what I'm saying? Like a 5th grader trying to holler at a 7th grader. Like, hey, shorty, what's happening? You know what I'm saying? My pops got this Lincoln Continental over here. Back in the day, we used to call them OJs. Riding this OJ girl. You know what I'm saying? You want to ride the Hudson Mall in this OJ, you know what I'm saying? What's good? But Pee Wee died in 91. And so that was my grandfather that lived in the Bronx. That's the one that I often speak about. He always have us in the Bronx during the summertime, right? And I'd be over there like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, the Bronx is aight, you know what I'm saying? You say, you know what I mean? You know how it is. Yo, Bronx aight. This ain't, these hoagies is aight, you know what I'm saying? But these ain't like the bodega in Jersey City. These ain't the ones I be getting from the deli. Hey, Chuck, why they call it bodega? Ain't that Spanish?
Yes, it is.
Okay, because where I'm at, we call them delis.
Well, it depends on who owns them.
What?
It depends on the ethnicity and who owns that establishment. Bodegas are usually owned by someone of Latin descent.
Hey, man.
If it's anyone else, it's the deli. Or that's the Korean spot. Yo, I'm going to the Korean store.
I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed, bro.
Why?
Because I come from a different generation. So it seems like when you say that stuff, I know what I should be thinking should be more political, like, but that's not how I saw it growing up, bro. Like the Spanish store, it ain't matter what Spanish, it didn't matter what Spanish speaking country you came from. And I'm gonna get back on topic, y'all. But it didn't matter what Spanish speaking country you came from, no matter what traditionally Spanish culture you came from, everybody it's the Puerto Rican store. Yo, you could have been from Mexico. Yo, this is the Puerto Rican store. And now that I think about it, like in the 70s, we shouldn't have been doing that, bro. We shouldn't have been doing that. We should have been more open. But now that I know better, I do better. Right?
Right.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing with the Korean store. You know what we used to call the Korean store?
The Chinese store.
It's the Chinese store. Yeah. Yeah, it's the Chinese store. Just like Asian food. Just like Asian food is Chinese food.
Yes.
And it shouldn't be that.
A Thai restaurant moved to our little port town, and that's all everyone told us about. Man, y'all seen the new Chinese restaurant? But they're not Chinese. But they look Chinese. It definitely says Thai food on the outside of that place.
And they don't look Chinese either.
Like, it is not. If y'all go there thinking you're about to get some pork fried rice and some egg rolls, you about to find out the hard way. That ain't the same. Right. It ain't the same at all. But anyway, just to add to your point, I'm sorry. How ignorant we are, and being ignorant is not a bad thing. It's just you lack the information.
You
lack
just don't
the knowledge.
know.
Right.
You just don't know. Right. It's like when I used to see Caribbeans, everybody Jamaican,
Yeah.
right? But then when you know better, you do better, right? When you know better, you do better. That basically it just sum it up. Like everybody, like man, you talk funny. You just imagine somebody from South Carolina coming up to New Jersey, telling a Jamaican that they talk funny. Man, my man from Charleston met a Jamaican dude and was like, "Yo, you talk funny." Really?
Shout out to all the Geechees in attendance tonight, all the Geechees across the world. I got nothing but love for the Chuck and all my good folks down there. But like you said, it's strange to hear someone from the South tell someone from Jamaica they talk funny. And the Geechees are a combination of both Caribbean and Southern together.
Yeah.
And if you got a super Geechee trying to have a conversation with them, you will absolutely need a translator.
Yeah.
Like, slow
Yeah.
down. What did you say?
What did you just? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What language is that?
Yeah. And when they say Gullah, you like, but Gullah is not a country. What's Gullah? What do you? But yeah. 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 Gullah is not a country. You know
It
what I
is
mean?
not.
So, but yeah, man. And so I said that, and I hope nobody is offended by this, by me saying that, because now that we know better, we do better. But it just, just point that out to let you know that none of us are perfect, man. We come from this deal where, we want to respect all these cultures, right? And all that stuff, and maybe even do something to bring forward a melding of both, right? Of all. But you know how it is, man. But Chuck, so we were asked a question. Hey, Staffadan, what's good? Chef NYK asks, you guys grew up with your grandfathers. What I want to say to that is, no, basically, because it depends on to what degree you mean by grow up with them. You mean like were they in town and could I visit them? Did they live like 8 or 9 blocks away, where they were close enough for me to go visit, but far enough not to be in my business every day? Nah. One was in Fairfield County, South Carolina, and the other one was in the Bronx, New York. You know what I'm saying? And so did I go to them and ask them for like advice and stuff? Nah. My grandfather that lived in the Bronx, I really didn't talk to him about much of anything. You know what I'm saying? He was a tall guy like myself. I think he was about 6'5". He was a postal. He used to be the mailman, right, in the Bronx. And then my other grandfather, which is ironic, my other grandfather was about 5'6". You know what I'm saying, with a pot belly. You know what I'm saying? Smoked the corn pipe and dipped. Ain't did nothing but knock up my grandmother and do her dirty. You know what I'm saying? From what I hear. God bless the dead. I ain't trying to throw no, you know what I'm saying, no salt on nobody's grave or nothing like that, man. But I just don't remember him like that. So I'm just going by what other people was, you know what I'm saying? So
My grandfather, he's still alive as far as I know. We just don't have a relationship.
okay.
For a long time, I thought he was dead because no one talked about him, right? But little did I know they were, because back in the day when you were a kid, adults talking their codes and things
Yeah.
of that nature. But my grandfather was one of those men who couldn't keep it in his britches, and you know, he wasn't the type to like just have an outside baby here or there. Like, yo, this dude had whole families.
Yeah.
like he has women like 3 or 4 children by multiple like it's
Yeah.
absurd.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a very brief story of how I met this dude. I had just moved to that town in the South, and I've been there a while. I'm working for my uncle. This is summertime. I'm working for my uncle. Two of his guys got locked up over the weekend, so he needs somebody to drive one of his equipment trucks, one of the big trucks. Right. So I was, and so we have a business account at the local Texaco, where we go and we can fill up all the work trucks and right. things like that. So we're there filling up. Me and my mother's brother, her younger brother, and he's filling up, and I'm going in to let the guy know, Mr. Henry, like, this is, such and such account, blah blah blah, or whatever, right? And this guy, he's staring at me, like as soon as I got out the truck, talked to my uncle, started walking to the store. I mean, like, he just sits there and looks and looks and looks. And I get back to the truck, he's still looking, and I'm like, yo, Uncle, who that is? Like, I think I'm gonna have to go over there and put hands and feet on him
and straighten him right on out. Yeah.
Right. Like, what is this? Because it wasn't right. like a glance, or maybe he could have been looking in that direction, but not necessarily looking at me. But nah, he like laser focused, guided missile looked at me the whole. And I'm like,
he saw a ghost. Yeah.
And he said, "You serious, man? You don't know who that is?" I said, "No." He said, "Man, that's your granddaddy." Wait, what? wait a minute. Wait, excuse me? Wow. This is who? Yeah, man, that's my daddy.
Wow. And those two didn't even speak to each other?
Apparently he didn't speak to any of the kids that the woman that he wasn't with anymore. Because he had whole families, bro. Like, so when he was with, let's just say, Beverly, right, and the kids that he got with Beverly, he don't talk to Sharon and Carolyn or their kids, because he with Beverly. And then when she gets sick and tired of him and she put him out, he'll go to Carolyn. And now that he with Carolyn, he don't talk to Beverly or Sharon. And then all of the kids who are siblings don't speak to each other because of that.
Petty. So he got some emotional thing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got some emotional thing going. I ain't trying to speak bad about. I trust me, I'm being respectful, bro. I don't do that disrespect stuff. So when I say it just seemed like to me that maybe he had some emotional stuff going on. Yo, guess who just popped up backstage?
I don't know. G-Man?
Staffadan. Yo, get
Wow,
your behind in here. What's up, boss?
Salute.
wow, family.
What's
What's
up,
going
man?
on?
Danny Landis was good.
Just
Salute.
one, just here relaxing, watching this game,
Watching the game. Watching the
listening
game.
to y'all at the same time too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Hey, so we got a joint, man. We calling it The Men in My Life Made Me a Monster. And the reason why I thought of that is because I'm walking around town. First of all, it's something that I want to speak to for a while, right? It's one of the things. Staffordon, I don't know if you remember this, but we had a chop it up thing. It was like 10 of us on the screen, and I asked you a question. I was like, "Who are you, Staffordon? Who are you really?" Right? Because you was telling me I'm from such and such. I was like, I don't care. I'm asking Staffordon who he is. Like, who are you? Right? And so what I've been trying to uncover over these few months is do we know who we are really? You know what I'm saying? And so I've been walking around carrying that question in my head. And one of the questions or statements that came to me is the men in my life made me a monster. Right?
Mhm.
And so with that said, it's like, well, if these men in my life made me a monster, were they made monsters also? Or am I different? Because we're very different. It's like 50-50, right? It's 50-50, right? So my pops and uncles and all of them came up in the 40s and 50s, some 60s. I came up with, man, some 60s, but it wasn't nothing. 70s and 80s, right? 70s and 80s, right?
You see Danny Landis?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and throw the thing out there, man. Ain't nothing to it. But we ain't gonna we can't have too many people, but we'll But Stafford, what I'm getting at is so those dudes came up, my uncles, both sets of uncles, they came up in the rural South in the 1940s and 50s, right? They came up in the rural South in the 1940s and 50s. The Jim Crow era, blah, blah, blah. And so they think and move a certain way. Well, I came up in a city in the 70s and 80s. You know what I'm saying? They came up with, sharecropping and having to, pick cotton in the field just to get some extra money. But I came up in the heroin era of the New York tri-state area, right? In the 70s. I came up in the crack era of the 1980s. You know what I'm saying? And so we came up in different eras. So even though we might walk like, talk like, drink like, smoke like, dance like, sing like, play like, we are, we come from the same family tree, but our experiences are different. You know what I'm saying? They come up in the Jim Crow era of the South, segregation, all that stuff. I come up in a different era, right? Come up in that dog eat dog society every day. Like they came home in the Jim Crow era of the South. It was segregated, racist, all these different things, and their survival was centered around making it home safely. But once they got home, they were good, right? See, I come up in a different thing. See, I used to meander the city during these rough times, and so our mentalities are different. Yo, Danny Landis is in the building. What's good?
What's up, buddy? You doing,
Hey,
Freezy?
man, I'm chilling, man. How's Lucas?
He's great. Doing awesome.
Good, man. Good to see you,
Real
man.
good. You too, bro. You look great. You lost a lot of weight, dude.
I'm
That's
trying,
what happens
bro.
when that's what happens when you give the advertisers to eat healthy. I saw that.
Yeah, 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 bro. Yeah,
That's good, man.
today. I had hibachi, the rice and grilled mixed vegetables.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm
Hit it.
chasing and I'm chasing it down with a Bud Light lime.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Hit it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So
What's good with you guys?
yeah, we bugging out, just talking about just talking, chopping it up about this. So I have this thing. I'm trying to figure it out. Let me ask you this. Maybe you can help me. Hey, are your pops and your uncles and the men in your life, are they originally from the New York tri-state area? Is that where they from?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's like 3 or 4 generations of your people like just grow up in the New York area. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. So you're a New Yorker through and through. There's like
Through
no.
and through.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
I was
man.
originally born in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Yeah. Brooklyn.
That's a diff.
Canarsie. Sheepshead Bay area.
Okay. Okay. So it's a different world from where you live at now. I ain't trying to give that away. I'm just saying where you live at now versus where you come from. Yeah, a different world, right? So we was speaking to this point about how we become men, right? Like for instance, like when I see you and Lucas together, man, Luke every time, and this is why I like you so much, bro. When I see Lucas, he feels, man,
Look
he
at her
feel.
face. What happened?
Uh-oh.
Why it's so black?
Hold on, Freezy.
All right. Look like I got Danny in trouble. My bad. Stafford, you still there?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh my God.
So Stafford, let me ask you this.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I'm asking this respectfully because I want to get to a certain place, right?
Uh-huh.
Is your family from, say, like 2 or 3 generations from where you live at now, or is it something different?
It's totally something different.
Okay. So do you have uncles and pops and other men around you where you live at now?
No.
Okay. So where do you get that male bonding from? Where do you get that positive feedback from? Where do you get that holding in the road from? Excuse me. Do you have friends there now?
Um, it all started back in the islands where I grew up from. The bonding really come from like a spiritual thing. I should say like a Rastafarian philosophy, I should say.
Okay.
And through
So what's a Rastafari?
well it's a lot of definitions, right? A Rastafarian would say is a person that goes around walking positive, conscious, believes in the a thing they called the Torah. Also too, they believe that this guy called Haile Selassie, they believe that he is God. Also too, they also smoke a lot of marijuana. as a meditation, not as a recreational thing, but as a meditation.
It's the connector.
Right,
It's the connector.
right,
Like if
right.
you, yeah.
And through the drums, the Nyabingi drums, and the chanting and the fire burning, you know,
Right.
basically saying Babylon, which is the higher forces, is bringing down Jah people,
Okay.
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 So and then basically I was kind of more influencing through the reggae music also too. A lot of conscious music, because also I grew up in church. My
Okay.
my grandfather, my great grandmother husband, I should say, he owned a church, and every morning, well, I ain't gonna say every morning, every Sunday morning, we had Sunday school. We had Sunday school. Then after we had the big people service, and then we had night service, and then there were were young people fellowship, and then you had men's fellowship, and then you had women's fellowship, and then you had choir practice and music practice. So I kind of grew up in the church also too.
So was this
Right?
a Rastafarian church?
No, it wasn't. It
Okay.
wasn't.
So
The church that I grew up in was a Pentecostal church. Right? This is the whole. Right. This is Jesus Christ. You gotta accept Jesus Christ in order to go to heaven, and without Christ you can't go nowhere. And the whole John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that all those little Bible verses, growing up in church. And the shortest sentence in the Bible is Jesus wept. All those little things, you know what I mean?
Right.
So growing up in the church, I had two different perspectives. On the outside with the Rastafarian, and then growing up in church.
Right.
And I just choose the path that I thought was right. I'm not, I'm gonna just leave it as that, because every person has their belief.
Right. So for some
know.
reason, and I'm gonna ask you this. I'm gonna ask you this, and it's based on the conversation we having, right? So I'm gonna ask you this: so? Did you take bits and pieces of the things that you learned, or did you just go all in one thing and just stay in a straight line?
It had one point in time where I was fully vegan, bro.
Right.
Like no meat, no fish, not even pescatarian, like straight vegetarian. That's how serious I was. I was even doing Sabbath. Right?
So why were you vegan? Is that part of a belief system?
Yeah. When being a Rastafarian also too, they don't eat meat. Okay. They don't eat no type of flesh, I should say.
Okay. All right.
Right? Not even fish.
Right.
Right? So it's a lot of nuts, a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables.
Okay.
Right? A lot of water. Right? So, I used to do that a lot.
Then you switched. Why?
Well, over the course of the years, I developed a illness. So it kind of I ain't gonna say forced me to eat, because I could still go back to a vegan diet, but to gain my health and my strength back, I needed to eat more protein. Not saying that uh being a vegan doesn't, the foods that you eat doesn't have protein, but just as far as meat wise, but no red meat,
Three.
more 2 legs than 4 legs, put it like that. So no pork, no beef, just straight chicken and fish. So I kind of
Okay.
still also maintain I still like to juice. I still make my little power punch, if you want to say, you know um like a strong back, if you understand what I mean.
Right.
you know um
Okay.
a lot of alkaline I also do, during that time, which I still do.
Okay.
So also, when you're around a lot of Rastafarians, they also teach you about history,
Okay.
right? So you get to learn about certain history, a lot of blackness, sometimes a lot of soul searching also too.
Okay.
you know um so that's what mostly I get all mostly my inspiration and my consciousness, just being around a lot of highly intelligent uh people
Okay.
that know about history, and more on the conscious side also too. So because I like to learn also too of where I come from, because if you don't know where you come from, you don't know where you're going. So
Okay.
I kind of go by that philosophy also too.
Okay. All right. All right. Um, what about, hey Danny, what about you? Do you have men around you that you can go and talk to? Like dudes that'll keep you in line? Dudes that'll tell you, like dudes that you can go get advice from?
Usually I talk to my brother-in-law.
Okay. 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 Yeah, I asked that because the reason why I asked that is because what I find is nowadays men seem to be uncomfortable talking to men about a myriad of things, right? Like no lie, last night this is a conversation. I'll put the mic down because I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna try not to laugh, man. But I was around a couple of my homeboys, right? They're a little bit older than me, right? They in their 60s, right? So I walked by, I dropped something on the ground, I bent down to pick it up. I'm like, oi, God, I get back hurting, blah, 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 and so the two dudes, Jack and Tony, they like, suck it up, buttercup. You know what I'm saying? They like, man, they like, tighten up, man. You a baby. You ain't even got no bank. All you got is gristle. They old timers. So this is how they talking to me, right? And they're like, well, what you need to do is take off a few of them pounds. This is how they talk to me, Chuck. You know what I'm saying? And so when I talk to them, but these are the same dudes that talk to me about stuff. Oh, these are the same dudes that talk to me about relationships, Chuck. I remember Vibes and stuff about 3 weeks ago. We talked about my homeboy and the older lady. He thought
Yeah.
she about like 2 years older than him, right?
Right.
And then the other dude is the dude that worked for the railroad for all them years.
Yes.
And you know what I'm saying, he was a Marine, and he, you know what I'm saying, and mess around, and yeah.
Yeah.
And so I value, See, because where I'm at now, I don't have uncles, right? And my father passed away in 2003. My little brother passed away in 2019, I think. Right?
Sorry about that, Freezy.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, ain't nothing to it, man. It wasn't nothing we could do, man. It was just his time, bro. We did everything. But you know, I appreciate you for that. But I don't have like blood. I don't have like kin that I can go to and talk.
Yeah.
Like for instance, I'm gonna just make something up. Like, say if Mo be mad at me for like 3 days, right? And I'd be like, Mo, what's wrong with you, girl? And she's like, if you don't know, then such and such and such. See, I ain't got no dude, no kin, no blood, nothing like that I could trust and go to and be like, yo, the missus tripping, bro. I don't know what I did. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll be like, well, you know what? You need to make yourself unbusy, because usually when women get frustrated with you and they won't tell you what it is that's going on, you've been too busy. You need to put everything else down and make them the center of your universe again. You know what I'm saying? Because what happens is, you know, when your old lady,
I will. A couple more minutes.
yeah. So when your old lady be like, want some attention from you, she don't want to just say, hey, I want some attention from you. She'll do little stuff. You know what I'm saying? To get you to pay her some attention. And then if you don't understand that, then it'll lead to other stuff. Right? You feel me, Staffer? You feel what I'm talking?
I feel you. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, and so the frustrating part to that for me is I don't have that type of inner circle now. And it's not because I didn't want that. It's just circumstances. People passing away, me moving to a different city, just a bunch of different, you know, jobs, all of that. Right. That's why Staffer. That's why I asked you if you had like an inner circle that you can. Do you have any family confidants that you can go talk to that are males?
I don't want to bring her.
Oh, I do.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
On the phone or eyeball to eyeball?
On the phone.
Oh, okay. Okay.
On the phone.
Yeah, I like her.
Also, too, even though I don't have
How he is with Rusty.
I have both.
Is that good?
I have a male I could talk to. I know. I also have a female I could talk to also too.
Do you want to go there on Sunday?
Okay.
You know.
So is it a confidant or is it just a sounding board?
No, it's a confidant.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a confidant, and it's my sister. You know, we
doesn't like.
You know, we're very, very close like that. You know, we talk about everything, and even if let's say for instance,
I want some
let's say for instance, I have a issue with my BM. You know, I would try to get her perspective
Shower first.
from a mom and from as a woman.
Okay.
So I could know how to go about, I should say, the situation at hand.
Which one?
You know, so my sister is she's one of the closest confidants besides one of my childhood best friends that I grew up with from young till now. You know, we talk about everything.
Wow. Okay. What about you, Chuck?
Well, yes, I do have people that I could talk to on the phone, and if I need to speak to someone eye to eye, that's also just a phone call away. Like, hey man, can we chop it up?
So in those type situations, what is it usually that drives you to like the confidant? Is it something mostly like something you can't figure out, or is it just like sometimes you just need the emotional pat on the back, or is it like something perplexing?
Well, for me, sometimes you want to hear a different perspective, or you will want to be like, yo, am I wrong for saying this, or am I wrong for doing that? Or what do you think about that? Or what do you think about this? You know, because it's not everybody you're gonna go and ask certain questions, or or have that particular relationship with, that you could just ask anything.
Where do
That's
you
just how I
where do
look
you
at
draw
it.
the line, Stephanon?
When you say draw the line, as far as
So check me out. When
Mhm.
say somebody needs your advice, right? Where do you draw the line? Where do you be like, whoa, that's something for you and your old lady to talk about, or whoa, that's something for you and your mama to talk about, or man, you need to, where do you draw the line? Like, man, that's something you and your son need to get together and talk about this.
No, well, put it like that. Put it like this: if I'm your true friend, and you consider me a friend, and you telling me these things, and you want me to give you the advice, I'm gonna give you but my perspective. But at the same time, I'm gonna tell you, you're your own man. I don't think there's a line to cross, because we friends. We tell each other. So I don't think there's basically a line in my preference, because if you ask me something, I tell you something, you can't get mad because you asked me my opinion. But at the end of the day, the decision is up to you, right? We boys, we friends, and I respect you and everything, but at the end of the day, you got to make that final decision.
Right.
It's never a cross the line thing with me. You know what I mean? Because we share each other personal information, and certain things, we discuss, and it's that camaraderie thing, you know what I mean? So it, for me, like that, if that's my true homie like that, yeah.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You talking about the camaraderie thing. Do you trust this person? And
Exactly.
and you know this person is smart and relevant and relational, because you wouldn't ask a fool any of these questions.
Right. Exactly.
And not saying that everybody that not saying that some people in our lives or people every man in our life know everything, because we know better.
Right.
You know who not to ask.
Right. Exactly.
Like I ain't gonna ask my cousin Big Daddy about no relationship advice. No, that's out. You know what I'm saying? If you 60 years old and you still going by name Big Daddy, you know what I'm saying?
No,
you can't ask him for no relationship advice, bro.
Next.
And I love him. I love him to death. I'm not saying he a bad guy. It's just you gotta know, you know what I'm saying? You gotta know and trust you know what I'm saying? Like I ain't gonna ask Junior for no advice. With a name like Junior, you know he young.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't about to ask somebody young for advice. I mean, the only thing a young person could do, hey man, what kind of cereal we gonna eat in the morning? You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of advice I'm looking to,
Captain Crunch.
Yeah, and that's about the answer. That's about the answer you should expect.
Cocoa Pebbles.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But if your girl is mad at you, you ain't gonna ask the cereal expert about no relationship questions. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? So yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah,
Freeze,
man.
to be honest, I usually talk to my sister. Me and my sister are like really close.
Okay. Did she always give you the best advice, or is she clutch?
No, she's good. No.
Okay. Is she younger than you or older than you?
She's younger than me.
Okay, so
She's
smart.
40. She's 42. I'll be 50 in August.
Yeah,
Man,
my sister is
you
older than
old,
me.
bro. Danny Landers, you old as dirt, bro. You 50.
Looking to retire already. Just don't have this. Not ready yet.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And so the reason why I asked that is because I asked the guys that I work with, right? I'm like, hey man, you know, you got some stuff going on, man. Who do you generally ask? They be like, man, I ain't ask nobody. I keep it to myself. Like for instance, my homeboy says, hey man, I ain't been feeling good lately, and I think I need to go to the doctor. And with me, then my response is, okay, so how long is lately, and why haven't you gone to the doctor?
Right.
These are my two questions. So he said, I hadn't been feeling good lately. This is 8 to 10 months.
Wow.
And I'm like, bro, that's not lately. That's a long time. You know what I'm saying? That's a long time, right? And how come you hadn't gone to the doctor? And so a lot of the men that I talk to, they be like, man, oh man, he ain't gonna say nothing but such and such and such. But like, bro, you don't know that. You got to go see.
A lot of people don't like to see doctors. I don't like to go to the doctor unless I have to, Freezy, to be honest.
I know. Me too. Like, my guy's been telling me, he be like, yo, you went and got checked for colon cancer yet? And I'm like, hell no. And my man is like, but how you gonna know if you got it? Some things
You see a lot of men also too have a pride thing, especially with something like that.
Mine ain't pride though, Staffer.
No, but listen.
Mine is fear.
And I get what you're saying, but certain island men, yo, they'll take like, yo, man, I want no man come put them in you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So but at the same time, you gotta put common sense ahead first and be like, yo, it's for your own health and for your own purpose. But some of them so Tibbs like stubborn.
Right.
Yeah, I just had to throw that in there. You know what I mean? So
that's true.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yo, I'm telling you the right advice, bro.
Bro, but it's not.
Go check it out.
It's not just island men, bro. I'm telling you.
You have to understand the people that I grew up around with.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? The mentality that they have. You know what I mean? Not saying it's just not island. I know you got other people that think the same way also too.
Right.
But some of the people that I grew up with and be around and that I know, they be like, yo, and I make no man put no finger in my
right. Nah.
No, sir.
Nah, I feel you.
You understand what me I said, Chuck?
Yes.
I feel you, but them the same dudes. Not, and I don't want to put bad mouth on nobody, right? But dudes that have made that decision are also the dudes that be in suit world buying them 2 or 3 suits, trying to get back into church because they got the diagnosis of something that they could have had fixed earlier.
A long time ago, right?
But
make it get worse.
And I'm not just talking about. And listen, I'm not talking about dudes from the island. And bro, I'm telling you, but I know, man. One of my best friends in life is a redhead, freckle-faced, pasty white dude, right? One of my best friends. He and of course, you know, he's Irish. When I say, you know what I'm saying? He like, nah, man, ain't going no doctor. For what?
He's Irish?
Yeah.
Does it come with you with Donny boy, the pipes are calling?
He hit me with beer. Man, bro, no matter what kind of beer you drink, bro, if you're a beer drinker, no matter what beer you drink, bro, nothing It was the beer they drink in Ireland, the black looking beer.
Guinness.
Guinness.
Yeah, I was just about to say Guinness.
Guinness.
Or stout,
Nasty.
Royal
Ugh.
Stout.
You-
No, man, yo, that's not nasty, bro. Well, I mean,
I tried it.
Yeah. I
every
tried
man have their preference, but
it. Yeah.
when you go put on our works, that you need for drink.
Hey man, no, I ain't man. Listen, I would man.
Freezy. If I gave it to you, I make it, but I spruce it up a little bit for you and get it in a different flavor and a different taste.
Then it's
I'm
not
telling
Guinness.
you, bro.
Then it's not Guinness.
No, it's like a
It's
Guinness
some-
punch. It's like a Guinness punch. You don't have to drink the Guinness straight.
It's a Guinness
but
Rita.
Guinness
but
and Red
you know what I
Bull.
mean?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can do that too, Chuck. You know what I mean? You can do that too, but you can make a punch out of the Guinness too. You can add peanuts. You can add oats. You can add, you know what I mean? You could add little honey, you know what I mean? Or a little almond milk and you blend it up. You understand what I mean? And
No, I don't
I'm
understand
telling
what you mean.
Them thing they work
Better off
magic,
having a
my
protein
you.
shake.
Yeah.
Listen, if you want more kids, I that.
well,
Yeah, you know what I mean? So
well, but
the peanuts and the oats and the almonds and you just Guinness and
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
allergic. I'm allergic to almonds though, bro. I developed that.
wait,
I'll put
you
some
don't have to
oysters
put
in there,
almonds.
too.
You don't have to put almonds, but the peanuts is just a protein, that raw protein. You know?
Okay. Well, I mean, but stop at the point I was getting at was with my homeboy,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
My homeboy, he Irish, man, and I go around go around his people, and they say the same things that we say, like, you know, man, I ain't going to no doctor. All the doctor gonna do is, you know what I'm saying, and then it's a whole conversation about how doctors are expensive. You have to wait too long in the waiting room. They be trying to stick fingers in private parts. You have to wait a whole bunch of time for tests to come back. You know, so you got to make an appointment like a month and ahead of time, and then you be forgetting. And so everybody complain about the doctor, right? But the thing
It's a hassle.
right? But the thing is, though, I think it all comes from a healthy fear of going to see that man, right, or woman, whichever Dr. Quinn, Dr. Seuss, Dr. Doolittle, whichever doctor it is, Dr. Pepper,
Right.
you know, Dr.
Right.
Oz,
Dr. Pepper.
yeah, whatever doctor it is, you know, a lot of people have like a healthy fear of going to see the doctor, right?
No, that's a fact.
And it's like, and I am one. I don't want.
Oh, wow.
I go to the doctor, right? I go to the doctor for like, the bare minimum stuff. Like I'm diabetic, so I go for the diabetic screens and all that stuff. They be like, "Hey, Uncle Freezy, you know, you're such and such and such." All right, y'all, I holler. And they be like, but yeah, you have to. No, I'll pay online. I'll be in a rush to get out of there.
Yeah,
They be
yeah.
like, you know, you got a balance of such and such. Okay, I'll pay when I get home. But I'm not trying to hang around there at all, right? And here's the part why. I saw my uncle, a big strong man. He was about 6'6", about 200 pounds, right? In a VA hospital with tubes coming out of him
Oh,
because
God.
he had, you know what I'm saying? Later on in his life, that was my dude that I could go talk to. That was my confidant, right? My pops was in ICU. He passed away from cancer. I looked him in his eyeballs while his eyeballs were turning yellow. He was being overcome by death. He was dying. Looking me in my eyes, right? And I could feel the strong grip. This dude, my pops used to be the dude that put the doors on your F-150s. Right here, take them out of the box and put the door on your F-150 and screw it in and connect it. Now they got robots and stuff that you know what I'm saying. But he used to do it by hand, right? I watched that dude. I watched the dude look me in the eye as he passed away. I saw him take his last breath. His eyes was just locked in on my pupils, like looking at me just like this. And then also about 3 years ago, I'm in a hospital and my brother had a cardiac event and passed away, right? And then you want me to go to that place to go get checked? Nah, I'm good. I'm super good on that. Yo, trust me.
I'll pass.
Yeah, and it's no disrespect to hospitals and the staff because I'm sure they do the best they can do. But our experiences are not good. And when I say our, I don't mean men or black men or men from 50 to 60 or men that are college graduates or men with 2 jobs. I mean men, period. Everybody. Like we all have like these different experiences with the hospital, right? And when it's our turn to go there, it's like, yo, I know I need to do this such and such thing so I can live longer, but it's the fear of me walking through the door that bother me. If I could get over walking through the door part, I can kind of manage the other parts, right? But what the thing that gets me is yo, Severe's in the place. Hey, what's up, man? Mr. Walker's in the building. What's good?
What's good?
But yeah, man, it's as we have I and others
Fear.
have this fear. Like I'm not scared of the man or scared of the building. I'm scared of what they're gonna tell me when I get there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're like, well, Uncle Freezy, you know, you walked in healthy, you walked in just fine. Have a seat in this wheelchair. No. I haven't a seat of nothing. And if you say something crazy, like I got some kind of disease that I can't pronounce, you better call security. You know what I'm saying?
Freezy, I got a story for you, Freezy.
Yeah, man.
I got a story for you about the doctor. 5 years ago, I was in the gym, right?
Right.
I was doing incline presses, barbell,
right.
And I had my elbow wraps on, and I had a guy spotting me, so I was going heavy.
Right.
I was on like 5-6 reps. I was flying through. All of a sudden, the weight came flying down. You heard a pop. The guy's like, "Yo, I think you tore your elbow wrap." I was like, "No." And then he's like, "You gotta go to the doctor." My arm was like all bruised. I was like, I'm good. I'm okay. Maybe I'll continue working out.
Right.
And I was like, because I don't like doctors. But I finally went. I found that I had a torn tricep.
God,
and I wasn't gonna go. Imagine.
Right.
Danny.
Right.
Danny.
Bro. Chuck,
what's going on with you, man? Yo. Oh my goodness, yo, we have to be better. Yeah. This is
Chuck.
Is this our kryptonite?
Yes. Yes, Chuck. I'm telling you, this is so I tell a story. I told this story and people are like, man, you always saying the same thing. So I was in a car accident, right? Where a car that I was in was spinning out of control and it slammed into the side of a tree. And I was on that side and it snapped my leg into like 10 or 11 pieces, right? The force from a car spinning like at 40 miles per hour, just imagine, just spinning like this, like a top. And then the only thing that could stop it is a tree. So the tree hit, the roof came down and hit me all in the head. I had concussion, all these different things, man. I was in surgery for a long time, couldn't walk, all these different things, right? As soon as I came to from the surgery, because they were like, yo, because they was talking to me. And Chuck, you know this situation. I'm on a back road in South Carolina, right? No lights, no nothing. The only way how people knew that we was in a car accident was because the sound of the car hitting the tree was so loud.
Yeah.
Right. And the horn on the car was bam, bam, bam. And it's one of those things that kept me conscious. Because every time I would doze off, I'd just hear the horn. Bam, bam, bam. And smoke coming all out the hood. All this stuff.
Wow.
And so we on the back road, Chuck, it was so bad, right? That the EMS got there and they had to fly an emergency helicopter, land in the middle of a dark road in South Carolina on a Sunday morning, about 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's raining.
Wow.
So a helicopter land, shuttle me to Richland Memorial in Columbia. They telling me all these things, and they like, yo, you been in a car accident. I know. Where am I at? The hospital. I start moving. Like, they're like, oh, I'm like, yo, I can't move my leg. the first thing I thought, no lie, the first thing I thought was I was paralyzed because I'm laying down prone. I'm laying down on my back, and you know how when you lay on your back, you can see your feet. Well,
Right.
all I could see was one foot because the other leg was broken, and my foot was laying down like this, like because there was no, yeah. And so I was like, "What's wrong with my leg?" And they trying to tell me, they're like, "Yo, you such and such happened." I'm trying to and Chuck, so I'm trying to get up, and I'm like, "Yo, what's wrong with my leg?" And they like, and my cousin's like, "Yo, y'all gonna
You
have
in
to sedate
shock.
these fools." Nah, bro. So here's the thing. I was so drunk, and so Uncle Sam got so the other part is Uncle Sam got my mind wrapped up a certain type of way, right? So if you can imagine being injured, drinking, your mind warped all kind of ways from some stuff that you've been through, right? And you are awakened to like bright lights all in your face, people running around, get such and such and such. And so you're like, yo, what's going on? What's going on? And so they tell me what's going on. They're like, we have to rush you to emergency surgery. Hey, we're gonna have to give you a blood transfusion. And I'm like, no. Because at the time, the thing on the news was this famous tennis player, Arthur Ashe, had something happen, and he got a blood transfusion, and he wound up getting HIV, right? So they talking to me like, "Hey, if you don't get this blood transfusion, man, you might die." And I'm like, "Well, why y'all got to ask my permission? If it's that important, why I got to sign a form?" They're like, "Because we need your permission in case something happened." Well, you told me something's gonna happen. Anyway, all these things are going
Yes, sir.
right. All these things are going on, right? So my cousin is in there crying. She like, "Yo, y'all ain't got no tranquilizer dart. Just shoot him in the neck. He crazy."
Yeah.
Right? No lie. That's what she's saying. She like, yo, my little cousin, Uncle Freezy, he crazy. I'm telling you, he ain't gonna do none of this. He gonna try to walk out of here. And so the nurses leave. They whoosh out the room, and they like, yo, get the crash cart in case he go blue. And they say all these things that I heard on TV, right? Because I watch shows like Saint Elsewhere and all these shows that you know what I'm saying, in case, you know how I'm thinking they like getting the paddles ready just in case. And so Chuck, I'm trying to slide myself up so that I could get, because I have had so I have had, still do, and probably will always have a fear of the hospital, right? And it's not because the people work there are crazy, right? It's not that. It's just because of what you see on TV. Like, you know how you watch the dramas and they like tell somebody, well, you have this condition, such and such and such, and you're gonna have to deal with it. And so I feared that, right? And at the same time, when you big and strong and healthy, even though you're not, when you feel like you're big and strong and healthy, even though you're not, but in your mind you are, you don't want nobody telling you that you're not big and strong. You know what I'm saying? Because when you go from being big and strong to a person that's vulnerable and weak, you think you are less of a person, right? But you're not. But that's what you think, even though you're not, right? Like when I looked down, I was laying on my back. I looked at my feet. One foot was up, and the other one was laying down like this. And all of a sudden, I think something wrong with me. I got to get out of here and fix it. Even though I knew I couldn't fix it. You know what I'm saying? So it contributes. And so it's things like that, man. It's all these stories. Like I was in that car accident before my father passed away, before my brother passed away, before or after my uncle passed away. And so I have all these things. It's like stuff like that is what makes me have like the fear of going. Because you go there, because in my mind, I'm like, you know, you go there healthy and you come back sick.
Hmm.
I understand. I definitely understand. I've had friends and family members who parents went in with something we thought is uh, non-life life threatening as a headache
Right.
to be told such and such
Something
passed away
different.
a few minutes ago. Wait,
Right.
what?
Right.
She was complaining about her migraines. What are y'all talking about?
Right.
Um,
One of my aunties that happened to was having a headache. She go in there, come to find out she got a blood vessel burst on her brain, and then she had a series of strokes, and now she's never the same. Chuck, she was my spades partner, bro.
yeah,
Talk trash, drinking liquor, all this stuff, and then now,
yeah, yeah.
Stuff like that is real heartbreaking, man.
It really is, and I can understand why. It's a rational fear. Um, it's a rational fear among men in general because men aren't supposed to be weak. We can't show any vulnerability. And what's more vulnerable than going to the doctor and them telling you something's wrong and now you have to be taken care of? The thing I hated the worst was being taken care of when I was in my accident. I could do it. No, you
Hmm.
can't. You can't even hold a fork. What are you talking about? You can't. Nah, man, I'm going to the bathroom. You can't get out of the bed. So, showing any type of weakness or vulnerability is taboo for a man. That's why a lot of our young men um, end up in these life or death situations because of foolish pride
Yeah.
and and not wanting to back down and show any type of vulnerability. Because if I back down, that means I'm punk. So I ain't
Yes,
backing
so.
down,
right.
right? Because I can't show any weakness. But I've also have been with family members. Man, my stomach hurt. Your stomach been hurting for a while. Like that's not normal. You need to go to the doctor. Oh no, I'll be all right. Finally, your stomach hurts to a point where you're debilitated. And had you not gone to the doctor, they wouldn't have been able to take a 14-pound tumor out of your stomach.
Right.
Can I ask
The
one
thing,
question real quick?
yes,
Have you had a person, you tell them go to the doctor, and then when you ask them about it, they lie to you?
Yeah.
yes.
Every time I call up there, the line be busy. Yeah.
And you know the thing about it is that you know that you as a person, you go to the doctor regularly, and sometimes you know the routine, and it's just the audacity for that person just to lie to you in your face and tell them, say, yeah man, I went. Oh yeah, I'll go. Who are you trying to prove it to? You killing your own self by not saying by not telling the truth that you went to the doctor, bro.
Right.
And then when you do go and you find out the diagnosis, you're like, damn, I should have went more early. But fool, we've been telling you to go a long time ago.
A lot of us You ever, as a child, when I mean child, like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, when someone in your little neighborhood, your little group of friends do something you don't like, you go, we not talking to so and so today. No matter what they say, no one responds to them. Right? As adults, people have adapted that philosophy, and if I don't acknowledge that there's something wrong, like if I don't go to the doctor and acknowledge that there's something wrong, then therefore it doesn't exist.
Right.
And that's the furthest from the truth.
Yep.
Whether you find out or you don't, it still exists.
Right.
And so
Chop,
you
they only
need to be
fooling
proactive.
themselves, you know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They only fooling themselves when they don't do that. They in denial.
Right.
Because they're afraid to deal with whatever the diagnosis is.
Right.
Here's the thing.
Right.
This ain't the 80s where or 70s or 60s. If you got something, then oh well, we'll make you as comfortable as possible. It ain't that time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, do y'all know people, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people died from diarrhea. Like,
No,
there
real
was no
talk.
the medical advancements in the world at that time could not cure diarrhea.
Right. Right.
We're at a time where everything is for sale. Whatever's wrong with you, they're not in the business of curing, but they can they can definitely prolong your life.
Right.
If you get ahead of whatever it is early enough.
Right.
Never write anything off as, oh well, that's just, I had that pain for years. You shouldn't be in pain
Right.
for years.
Why? Who should be in pain for years?
But what if they say it's bone cancer? Then what if they do? That's something you
Yeah.
just gotta deal with.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some people just scared of dealing with that. With the reality.
So that right there, I think sums it up. Like, I think what you said is accurate about myself.
I'll
Right.
go. I'm sorry, Unc. I'll go a step further. The reason why, and not for you, I'm gonna let you finish on the point, speaking for yourself.
No,
But
I'm good.
To take it a step further, when you have to deal with medical issues like this, or like, people are afraid of their own mortality and the possibility of death, and then all of the stuff that comes along with it. Should I have been nicer to people? Should I have gone to church more? Should I have helped the homeless? What is going to be my judgment in the end? And so I don't want to know, because if they telling me, I have 6 months to live, I won't be able to handle it.
That's
So
rough.
if I die, I just die, man. No.
Not when you can live 25 more years healthy.
Easily.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man.
The people, all right. So I was one of the first surgeries I've had, of the many that I had. I was roommates with this guy from Long Island, and he was an Italian guy. He was a very nice guy, very family oriented guy. Uh, People came to visit him all the time, and so I asked him, "Hey man, what happened to you?" He was like, "Oh, I got tumors on my spine," and I was like, "Wow, man, tumors on your spine." He was like, "Yeah, his back had been hurting him for some years, but because he was in the construction business, he attributed it to his workload, and his wife had been begging him to go have someone take a look at his back. Had he did that, they could have caught it earlier, with it intertwined with his spine. So there were some spots that they could remove it, and then there were other spots where you couldn't. And I was just
Dangerous, right?
right. It's too dangerous for them to operate. Um, and as we're having this conversation, he's just like, "I wish I would have listened to my wife."
Hmm.
But I was, men don't go to the doctor unless they're injured.
Right.
I'm just hurt.
No, but you
Men
see,
see.
that is
What?
sorry, Freezy.
Oh, go ahead. Then.
That is where he make the mistake. Not listening to your wife, bro.
Right. And
You
the
know what I
other
mean?
things.
That's the person that's riding for you. Go ahead, Freezy.
So what I was going to say is the difference is women go to the doctor, men get carried to the doctor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be that way, bro. It should not.
Right.
Right? Like with me, I got carried to the doctor, like by a helicopter. That's one of the points that I was getting at, Chuck. Because listen, if I could have got out of that car and just went home and smoked a
You
cigarette,
gotta do it.
Hmm.
I'd have did it. Because going back to the point, the men in my life made me a monster. The thing I used to hear as a kid growing up is be tough. Stop crying all the time. Stop whining about everything. Be tough. Man, ever since I could remember, I remember being in Little League, being the youngest kid there. I was 7. They let me play because my birthday, my 8th birthday was coming in 2 weeks. But you know what I'm saying? You know how they won't let you play unless your birthday come by a certain day or whatever. I'm up there and I get stinged in the ribs by a fastball, right? Fastball stinged in the ribs. I fall to the ground, start crying. My mother about to run in the field, you know what I'm saying? About to run on the field and come get me, right? My father's like, no, get up, boy, you a man. Chuck, I'm 7. I don't turn 8 for another 2 weeks, right?
Right.
My pop comes out there, and think about this. Think about this. This is like the mid 70s, right? This is like the mid 70s.
Yeah.
He come out there with bell bottom pants on, you know what I'm saying? Stack heel shoes, an Applejack hat, big afro, you know what I'm saying? It's cold because it's New Jersey now. Let's not get it twisted. It's still Jersey.
Right.
And so he come out there and he take some yoo-hoos out of his pocket. I'm crying, bro. I ain't never got hit by a fastball before. You know what I'm saying? This is so he takes some candy out of his pocket. He give it to me, some yoo-hoos, right? He was like, you remember? Like he just said, you remember Cleon Jones, right? I was like, yeah, I remember Cleon Jones. Cleon Jones would have never cried. You remember Dusty Baker, don't you? And so he telling me these grown behind men that get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars wouldn't cry. He like, you gonna cry? Or you want to be like that one day? Like, I ain't gonna cry. So he gave me this candy called Yoo-Hoo. I mean, not Yoo-Hoo, but Tootsie Roll. And I know people don't know what Tootsie Rolls is nowadays. People are like, what's a Tootsie Roll, Uncle Freezy? Ha, ha, ha. That's the candy I used to eat back in the day. That's the slave candy. You know, all this stuff. They be clowning me, right? They be clowning me, right? And so he's like, yo, here, eat this candy, but don't drink it. If you gotta spit the juice out like they do on TV. So he gave me about 13 Tootsie Rolls. I pack them all in my jaw.
Oh,
right?
boy.
Right? And my mouth watering. He's like, you better not swallow it.
Boy, Freezy.
So I spit it out. And so what he doing is he making me mimic how the baseball players have tobacco in their mouth.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So like how we used to watch baseball back in the 70s is you see a dude and you know what I'm saying, dude running, he's spitting tobacco juice, blowing bubbles, all this stuff. I'm mimicking them at 7. Right? So when I think about back to all that, I think about how the men in my life made me a monster, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because what I should have did is cried all that stuff out, dust myself off, and then continued on. But what I did was harness all that emotion and kept it inside, right? And then this happens over years and years and years. So by the time I get to the military, by the time I'm 18, leaving for the military, I got all these years of pent up hurt and frustrations and all that stuff. So if a fly landed on me, Uncle Freezy would fight a room full of 20 people. What y'all looking at? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This is me. All this anger, pent up frustration, all this stuff from all them years, I would take on. I did with no lie. There would have been times I've been in places and I would be fighting 2 or 3 dudes at one time because I had so much anger and so much stuff pent up, you know what I'm saying, over the years. Whereas if I had just let it out then and let that thing happen and let it get over with, I wouldn't have had all that. So I wouldn't have been carrying all that emotional baggage as I got older. Think about that happened to me when I was 7. At 18, I'm fighting a room full of dudes. Like dudes is busting pool sticks across my back. And instead of me just falling to the ground and like covering up, I'm raging out like, oh, like, dude, like you hit me with a pool stick. You know what I'm saying? All these different things. And that's why I'm asking like that. And that's why I say these things. And I don't want people to be intimidated by the stuff that I'm saying. What I want people to do is think about the stuff that I'm saying. Like, do you have pent up anger? What do you think it came from?
What kind of anger?
Pent up.
Pent up.
On the inside. Like anger and frustration building inside of you for years, like a volcano ready to erupt.
Yeah, I'm on top people like that, yes. But then after, I think I was like that at one time. Used to build up so much anger that when it was time, I just exploded, bro, and just act like a fool. But over the years, I had to learn how to control it, bro. Yeah, man. You got sometimes you know.
You know what
Sometimes it could be detrimental to your health too.
But you should have done instead of trying to control it, because controlling it is acknowledging that it's still there, right? It's still there. If you got to control it, you know what I'm saying? What we probably should have done is have talks like this, where that we could turn that inner spigot on, that inner faucet on, so that we can slowly get rid of these things that traumatized us. Right? Because carrying around these things, carrying around this stuff, bro, is not healthy. It makes you an emotional train wreck, right? And it affects your decision making. You know what I'm saying? Like think about this. Think about this. When you walk in a room and you see dudes that you don't know, are you thinking like, hey man, I don't know them dudes over there. I wonder, you know what I'm saying? I wonder if you know what I'm saying, if they good dudes. Or are you thinking if something pop off, If something pop off in here, I gotta make sure I can make it to the car. Or if something pop off in here, I'm gonna get that one right there first.
You know what, too, Freezy? I'm just here thinking, and you know, growing up, even though I had a grandfather, because I'm really just now grasping, the whole conversation where you going with it, and it's like from a young age, even though I told you I had all those elders and stuff around me or whatever, I never really had that. Because when I was telling you I have somebody to talk to, I'm talking about older now. But you see, from those times, from younger coming up, like a real father figure, confident. I didn't have that.
Right.
I didn't have that person where you could talk to at the time.
Right.
And I think it kind of it affects men to this day, because even though I had my grandfather around and he showed me certain discipline, I was never comfortable to go to him and talk to him about certain things, then put it like that.
Right.
So I guess it's like when you say we afraid to really come out and sit and probably talk, I could understand where they're coming from, because growing up, certain people don't have that particular connection because their father mightn't be around. They never had a role model in their life. I'm still grateful to have my grandfather in my life, but that really confident to like somebody constantly talking to you while you growing up, nah, I never had that.
Right. Yo, hey, Staffa, I gotta wrap up right here, bro. Chuck, I gotta wrap up right here, man. I'm sorry. I know it seemed like, man, this is about to be the good part, right?
All right.
Yeah, I gotta wrap right here, guys, because I don't want the way the video looks. I don't want it to look like it's 9 days old. I don't, or you know what I'm saying? Y'all know how it is. It's the production part, man. What I will say is this: hey, thank you to everybody that came through, and hung out and gave us their perspective, on the topic, man. The men in my life made me a monster. I'm sure we'll have additional conversations down the road. Tomorrow here on Chop It Up, we are going to do another movie review. The movie review for tomorrow is The Dark Knight Rises. Make sure make The Dark Knight Rises is the Batman movie. So, if you thought conversations like this was crazy, you should have heard the one on The Shawshank Redemption, bro. The Shawshank Redemption one, I watch it now about once a week. Fire, fire, man. Last week the one on Boys in the Hood with a dude bullies, gangsters, was out to get Ricky, and he stopped in the alley to scratch a lottery ticket. Why? It's just a butt, man. So tomorrow,
no street knowledge.
Right. And so tomorrow we're gonna do The Dark Knight Rises.
The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, man.
That's a good movie to go watch right now.
I got a twist on who the actual villain is in this movie, because I think we have the hero and the villain mixed up.
Oh, you do? Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
talk about it. We'll talk
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. But thank you everybody for coming through. Appreciate y'all. Marquise, hey, sir, as usual, it's a pleasure. That's my man. Hey, Marquise Walker. Make sure y'all subscribe to his channel and check out his stuff. He always doing stuff. He busier than us. I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. Y'all have a good night, man.
All right,
All right.
Peace.